All right, so it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. A very warm welcome to all our participants present here today. Balancing your professional and personal life can be challenging. Often, work takes precedence over everything else in our lives. Our desire to succeed professionally can push us to set aside our own well being. Creating a harmonious life and work balance or life work integration is critical. Though to improve not only our physical, emotional, and mental well being, but it's also important for our career too. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Life Work Balance. To know more about HRA and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ms. Hena Sharma, Chief Happiness Coach, hopeandhappinesscoach.com. Hena Sharma is the founder and Chief Happiness Officer at hopeandhappinesscoach.com. She is an International Coaching Federation certified happiness coach and a Heal Your Life workshop leader. She is the Asia lead for Interpersonal Wellness Services Canada. She is the instructor at Coach Velocity School of Coaching. She is also the committee head of happiness and self-care at Global Workplace Wellness Summit. She believes in spreading happiness in the world by using holistic ways of integrating mind, body, and spirit. She has reached out to more than 50,000 people over the last 2 years of pandemic through her virtual workshops. Her work has been featured in leading newspapers and magazines. Hannah envisions a world where people are happy, compassionate, and living up to their full potential. For this, she has been awarded as Top 51 Global Happiness Leader from World HRD Congress and Mentor of Excellence Award from Women Leadership Forum. She is an avid reader, meditation teacher, motivational speaker, and seeker. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Without wasting much time, I now hand over the platform to Miss Hina. Over to you, Miss Hina.
Thank you so much, Faisal, for the lovely introduction. And the most interesting part that I see today is Hina's detail shared by another Hina here. So hello to all and welcome. I'm so happy to see so many not so many faces, but so many names on the screen on Friday afternoon. So very, very warm welcome. Thank you for joining. And this shows how much we need to talk about life-work balance. So when I was talking to HRAI about the topic of the session, the first question they asked me is, isn't it work-life balance? So my question was, what do you prioritize, work or life? And that's the question that I pose to all of you who are here today present with us. What would you prioritize, life or work? Put it in the chat because I want this to be a very, very interactive session. In fact, I have my slides ready, but looking at the number of participants, it's a wonderful, just a perfect kind of group. And I want to interact a lot with you. And I think I will just do it an interactive session. So put it in the chat. I hope everyone can put their messages in the chat, Faisal. They have the access?
Yes, they can do that.
Perfect, great. So yes, a good balance, Tushar says. Wonderful, Tushar, you are at the right place. Let's continue discussing more about it because over the last, I would say 7-8 years, I have tried doing that. But the truth is, to be very, very honest, I haven't been able to create a perfect balance. And that is why when I start my workshop, I do this, beforehand commitment that it's not going to be a perfect balance, but it is going to be an integration. You will be able to integrate your work and life in a beautiful manner, maybe post this workshop if you attend completely. And the balance is very, very tough to maintain, because me being a mother of two kids, there are some days when they need me more of my time, more of my energy. And there are some days when I'm away for, some organizational training for 2 to 3 days. And that is the time when my work needs me more. So that's why I'm unable to create a perfect balance, but I definitely integrate life and work together. And that's what my experience has been. And with that experience and some learnings that I have got over the years, I'm here to share some things with you. Others are very, very quiet, not even responding on the chat. I hope everything is okay. You can put thumbs up, smiley, anything to show that you are all here and not multitasking, like looking at your mobiles or answering your emails, because that won't really give you work-life balance. We will talk more about it. So thank you, Arman, for the thumbs up. And Peter, integration is the right way ahead. Absolutely. Because just as, Faisal started, I really loved the line that he used, that our professional life has actually taken over our personal life. We're all the time on our mobiles and computers. The email is also on the phone. So even when you're sleeping, your phone is next to you and you're checking every ping, every sound that comes, you pick up and check the email or tend to respond to it. So these are the things that has actually taken away our personal time away from our family, from our personal hobbies. And that's why it is kind of eclipsing over our well-being. And that's why professional life is so much more dominant these days. How do we really create that integration? How do we really try to make that balance is what we are going to do in the next few minutes. What I need from all of you is, number one, a curiosity mindset, because we learn from each other. That's why I said I'm not even sharing my PPT, because I want to learn from you, how you guys do it, because I'm sure one of you may share some story that could be an answer to someone else. Your experience, what you have changed, what you have implemented, could actually be a deep revealing answer to anyone else present in this room, or maybe somebody else who watches this YouTube video later. So feel free to share your story, your comments, your questions in the chat window so that we can keep interacting. Thank you, Aisha, Bhavik. It's great to see your responses. I feel so good that I'm not just talking to my screen. Faisal's face is anyways there, so I'm very happy to see one face, and I'm sure he will also switch off in some time. And then we have all these thumbs up coming up, which really excites me. So thank you. And now, as I was saying, I need curiosity for a few minutes. Next few minutes, we are going to work on some deep learning. When we do that, if we are curious, if we are ready to take some action, the implementation happens faster and quicker. Otherwise, this becomes like many other YouTube videos that we already have, and it doesn't make much difference in our life. So if you really want to make a difference in your life, a positive change in your life, please be ready with a pen and paper. Try to not multitask if possible, and be with me, interact with me. I'm sure before we leave, we'll try to answer all your questions. So here I have few things that I collected over the last, I think, 3 to 4 years, especially during COVID, when we started talking a lot about work-life balance, that when there is a lack of this balance, what is happening? A lack of this balance is causing a lot of stress. We are already aware of it, that, it is also leading to health issues such as cold, lower immunity levels, headaches, stomach aches, and heart diseases. And we are hearing of a lot of young people suffering from heart diseases. These are all stress related or lifestyle related diseases. And that is why the need to talk about life work balance is so crucial at this moment of time, so that we can create a harmony in what we are doing. Our life is sustained by the work that we do. We sometimes enjoy the work that we do, and it gives a happiness in our life. So let's combine them, let's harmonize them, so that we have a beautiful balance, and we wake up every day looking looking at that day with more vigor and vitality and energy to start that day, so that we are happy with what we are doing, the work, we are happy with the work and the life that we are leading. So are you with me? Anyone, are you with me? Okay, great. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So set an intention. Before we start, let's set an intention. What is one thing that you will take away from this session? So just say, before I end this webinar, before I log off or before I leave, I am going to take just one thing away from today's session that is going to bring a positive change in my life. Set that intention and let's go ahead. Ready? Are we ready now? So before you start setting an intention, it is very, very important to center your energies. And most of the time, if you have attended my previous webinars, you have seen that I always start with a slight centering, which is being in the present moment. How do we bring ourselves in the present moment? Because we hold a lot of responsibility of home, responsibility of our team, responsibility of so many other things that we do during the day. So let us take a moment to just become aware of our breath. Breathing in, breathing out. If you're holding your gadget in your hand, I would request you to keep it on side and just focus on how your body is feeling. Relaxing your shoulders, your neck, becoming aware of your feet on the ground or the body touching the seat, bed, wherever you're sitting, the surface of the place where you're sitting. And now bringing in awareness on the inhalation. If you wish, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4 as you inhale, and do a longer exhalation to a count of 8. So inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 8. Let us become aware of our breath, our body, our mind in this present moment. And let us set an intention of creating a work-life balance or integration with just one takeaway before we move away from here today. All of us, including myself. All right, now if you're ready, just stay in that guided space and I will ask you a question. All you have to do is just go with your first gut feeling. Don't think too much about it. Just a yes or a no. And if you can put that in the chat window, it will be great. I will have few answers to move ahead. So it's just a yes or no. So in the chat, you can simply write Y or N. That's more than enough. Are we good? Thank you. I'm taking Chintan's thumbs up as yes, and we are moving ahead with just a Y or N. So my first question is, do you exercise 5 times a week or more? All right, thank you so much. My next question is, do you constantly feel a pain either in your stomach or migraine, headache, back pain, neck pain? Thank you. Let's move on to the third question. Do you sleep for more than 8 hours in the night? Thank you so much. And my next question is, do you watch more than 8 hours of gadget in a day? Now, this includes the work we do, the time that we spend on the laptop, mobiles, TV, iPad. Thank you so much. And the last question is, do you struggle saying no to people? To your team members, to your boss, to your leaders, to your family members? Thank you so much for your honest answers and sharing it in the group. I love the interaction. Now, just count your yes. How many yes have you said? If you have answered more than 3 yes, that means you are giving too much time and attention to other things and people. And this is the right place for you because we are going to talk about self-care. You need to pay attention to the self. Because when we talk about work life, it is you, it is self who needs to do it. Can anybody else manage my work and life for me? No. I have to create that balance, that integration for myself. Because there was a time when I was working in corporate sector and then I took a sabbatical and then I started my own business. During all those experiences, what I realized was it was me who was supposed to take an action. It was easy for others to say, nahi ho raha hai to chhod do. There's no need for you to earn or something like that. And then it was easy for people to say, you must work hard. It is okay. And then seeing children grow and then some elderly parents saying that you will miss this time that you will be spending with your children. So there were opinions of all kinds from everywhere. And this is just my example. I'm sure you are struggling with your own set of example and challenges, and you are integrating that in your life. So it is you, it is self who can take care of this challenge, who can take care of this problem, and who can come up with a solution. So thank you so much. And now that you are aware, let's move ahead on how to fix this. So I have created an acronym for myself that really helps me, remind me when I'm losing that balance. It's called HELP, HELP, very, very simple. So when I know I have worked like 7 days a week or 6 days a week on some, highly busy days, then I really know I need help. And then I go back to this acronym and see how can I implement that in my life. So now I invite you to rate yourself on each, as I expand on each, and answer yourself between 0 to 10. Where do you rate yourself? So H stands for health. Health is an extremely important element of our life. With good health, we can manage ourselves, our work, our productivity can be more, we can manage our relationships better if we are in good health. So work on what deficiencies you have. How is your diet? What multivitamins do you need? Maybe reach out to a nutritionist or a doctor and figure out what is lacking in your health and how can you fix it. Right now, where are you on a scale of 0 to 10 in your health aspect? 0 being very bad, 10 being excellent. So find out where you are, and this can be reflected by your body. Your body speaks louder. If you are experiencing aches and pains, if you are experiencing headaches, stomach aches, these are all stress signs. And this shows that we need to really work on our health. Maybe, take some vitamins or diet or slight diet changes can bring back your health to your optimum level. And then your productivity increases, your happiness increases. You feel more happy when you are feeling good internally, right? There are also sick leaves that are provided by the company. So all of you who are working can make use of that. And the homemakers can always carve out a little bit of rest time for their own health and well-being. Any questions on this before I move to the next part? Because I don't want you to keep that question in your mind and forget it later. So any questions before we move from health to the next part, which is E? All right, I don't see any questions, so keep it safe for later. We'll keep some time for Q&A at the end. E is for exercise. Now, exercise is a definite stress reducer. So if you are feeling stressed on any day, just go for a walk, just go for a run. Why it does so is because there is a science behind it. It releases feel-good hormones, which are called endorphins, right? You have heard of those correlation between brain and exercise. So exercise is related in making our brain more active, releasing good hormones, making us feel good about ourselves and our body, and making us feel happy as well. So exercise is my next go-to. If I'm overworked, I would rather take out time for some exercise. How many of us you gave a no for 5 times a week exercise? I think this one is for you. So find out a little time. It could be a simple calming exercise like yoga, or it could be high intensity Zumba or fitness, whatever works for you. Choose what works for you, for your body, for your lifestyle, and then go for it. Don't follow others. Choose the exercise that works best for you. All right, moving on to the third one, L. Any guesses what does this L stands for? Because I'm kind of feeling lonely out here now. Great, laugh. Okay, that's good one. But actually, it's not laugh. Because some of, when I do my happiness workshops, people think that it is more of laughter. But happiness is much more than just laughter. I think it is more about well-being. It is more about feeling good and fulfilled at a deeper level. So how do we do that? We do it by following L, which stands for limit. Limit distracting activities, time wasting people and activities, if I can put it like that. All the people who give you negative energy, who waste your time in unnecessary talk or activities such as browsing your phone. So limit the time wasting activities and people that can take away your precious time and energy. The more focused you are towards your day, towards your activities, the more energy you will have in taking care of your work and life. So people around you and the activities that you do create a lot of impact on how you lead your work and life. So you may not always avoid the people, but try to find ways and just become aware of this. Where are you spending more time? What are you spending time with? Who are you spending time with? What are you doing? So one technique that I started using almost when it was COVID and I had the work responsibilities as well as the household responsibility and the education of my children from home. So I started timing my social media usage. If I'm on Instagram or LinkedIn, I will give myself a 20-minute or a 25-minute time frame. And once that happens, I have to move out, whether I answer, whether I comment, whether I share, whatever I have to do it in that time. When we limit our time, we are treating our time as money, which is very, very precious, and we utilize it in the best manner possible. Any questions? If you have any questions, type it down. I can either answer it now or later. And this reminds me of a quote which Jim Rohn shares, that you are the average of 5 people that you spend time with. So look around yourself. Who are the people you are spending time with? Are they limiting your growth or are they helping you expand your growth? All right, thank you, Peter. Let's come to the last one, P. P stands for passion. Now, some of us are lucky who are doing the work which is our passion. But if you are in a job, or if you're in a career, or if you are a homemaker who is not doing what you really feel passionate about, find time to follow your passion. Because when you follow your passion, it gives you an enthusiasm and energy to get up every day and do that. So even if you are in a 9-to-5 job, you come back home and spend an hour on your passion. It could be music, it could be art. It will help you feel good about your entire day. And when you follow your passion, please give up perfectionism, because many of us have this enemy called perfectionism coming in the way and stopping us from doing many things. So if you are passionate about singing and you are still a bathroom singer, don't worry about being perfect. Continue doing it. Find ways to learn new things and improve on yourself. So follow your passion. That's for P. So health, exercise, limit, and passion. These are the expansion of this acronym HELP. And whenever you think, ask yourself, what help do I need? Where do I need to put my focus on when you integrate this work and life? Any questions? Because I know even the most glamorous job, whether it's the CEO of the company, it can be very, very taxing. And as you grow, you have more responsibilities. So it's important to find passion that leads you to your happiness. So if you want me to move ahead, show me a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Bhavna. That's the thumbs up that I can see. I'm going ahead with that. All right. So before I move ahead, I will share a story. Thank you, Karan. So I'm going to share a story. I'm sure this story, many of you may have watched it on YouTube or read it on WhatsApp messages. But this story always reminds how can I balance my work and life. So once there was a professor who comes to the classroom and brings in a jar, a glass jar, and few packets. He takes out some big stones and starts putting it in the jar. He takes the jar and shows it to the students and says, is the jar full? Everybody in the classroom says, yes, the jar is full. Then he takes out another bag, and in that there are small pebbles. He starts putting those pebbles again in the jar. And now those pebbles have taken the small spaces between the rocks and have fitted very well. And then he shows it to the classroom and says, is the jar full? And the answer is, yes, now the jar is absolutely full. Then he takes out a third pack in which there is sand, and he starts pouring sand in that jar. Now the sand is traveling down the gaps and filling the entire jar with the sand and the pebbles and the rocks, and bags are empty. And now, is the jar full? My question to you is the jar full? And the answer is yes. The jar is now completely full with rocks, with pebbles, and with sand. So here we are in our life. We have self, we have family, and we have work. The rocks may be the work that we do. The pebbles could be the family that needs our time and attention. And the sand is the self that accommodates in between all this. So now my question to you is, how are you balancing your rock, pebbles, and sand? In your jar, take a minute. If you wish, you can draw the jar on your paper. That's why I said keep a journal and pen ready when you sit. Draw a jar on your paper and make rock. It could be things that you are highly focused about. And it's completely your choice whether you want to make those rocks your family or your work. You can modify it a little bit. You can put rocks and then pebbles and then sand. And for you, what does that stand for? This is an individual exercise for you to define your work-life balance. So be mindful and be focused when you do this activity. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here to answer. You can fill some rocks and then pebbles and then sand, and then more rocks and more pebbles and more sand. See what works for you. But what is important is when we are integrating three things, it has to merge together. Time for self. What are the things that you are doing for self? Time for work. How much time, effort you require for your work, and time for family and relationships. That plays an integral part in our life. Any questions on what you should put in the jar, what you should not put in the jar? When I created my jar, as you are doing it, let me share my, let me see if I can share my screen. All right. Here's my jar, where my rock is my family, my health, my faith. Pebbles are the work that I do, my social connections and the community. The sand is the fun stuff that I like to do to relax myself, hobbies, social media, or watching Netflix. Any questions before we move ahead? So you can create one action plan for each. Thank you, Abhaji, for sharing your thoughts. However busy we are in our life and work, we have to spend time with parents, family to know how their day has gone and how children are doing. Yes, that's a beautiful perspective. And I would like you to create some time and some place in your jar for that. And for others, choose what works in your life, who all are there in your family, what all you do, how your work and life looks, where do you need to spend time and where you need to slow down. Because when I talk of work life, there is a important example. Again, there's an important example that I would like to give, which is when you drive your car on the road, right? It is up to you what speed you want to take on. You want to drive at a speed of 40 or you want to drive at a speed of 100. Now, depending upon the traffic or the external circumstances, you may have to slow down, and that's perfectly okay, because if you won't, then you will get into trouble. Similarly, if it's a open road or you are on a highway, you can take a speed of 100. And that's about work and life as well. When we have external responsibilities that we need to take on, we may need to slow down, and that's absolutely okay. But when we are on a highway, we may go on a faster speed. That's up to us. So choose what works for you as an individual and create your own diagram, create your own jar, create your own action plan, and that will work for you. Not what is working for me may work for you, or not what's working for you may work for me, because we are all living individual lives with different responsibilities, living in different cities and under different careers. So choose what works for you and create your action plan. I would love to hear any of you who have created any action plan till now. Thank you, Abhaji, for sharing your action plan. I really appreciate that. Anyone else? Okay, so we have more people now than earlier. So I think there should be more interaction, isn't it? Or is everybody busy drawing their jar still? How do I know if I have to move ahead or slow down? Would anyone like to give me a thumbs up to move ahead? Neeraj, you're just smiling. Is that a yes or no to move ahead? Chintan says, okay, let's move ahead. And now I'm getting thumbs up on the screen. Thank you so much. So creating a routine allows us to bring more flexibility in our life. How many of us follow a routine? Yes, no? I know following a routine is very, very tough. And Chintan, hats off to you. You do that. Wonderful. Great. But it is a tough thing to do because you might wake up late, you might miss on your exercise, then you may rush to office. And then, you are in that frame of mind. So it all becomes added stress to how you get up and start your day. So creating a routine allows us to build more momentum for things that are really important. For example, exercise, for example, time for self, meditation, yoga, whatever you want to do. If you have a routine, it helps you. And yes, structuring time could be difficult. How you do it, if something pops up unexpectedly, you cannot do anything about it. But if you have a structured time during your day, I think most of the things can be accomplished which are important to you. So ask yourself, which are the 3 things that I need to accomplish every day that will make me feel happy? So for me, it's time with my kids, time for my exercise, and time for my work. So if I'm able to take out time for 3 things, it really makes me happy. What are your 3 things that you can fit into your routine that will help you navigate the day in a much more happy and joyful manner? It could change from day to day. That's absolutely okay. So you can get up in the morning and ask yourself, what is it that I want to accomplish today? It can be different for every day, and that's also okay. But include things that really mean important to you, because when we add on to those small and not so necessary tasks, it takes away our time and we miss out on important things. And this awareness is important, to include the downtime that can increase your productivity, that can increase your well-being, that can increase your happiness. Anyone who would like to share 3 things? Wonderful, Abhaji. I think you should get a fastest finger first prize after the session. Meditation, walking, writing makes me happy. Beautiful. So are you able to accommodate these 3 things in your routine most of the days, or is it a struggle on some days? So another way we could do that is through reaffirming. So what is reaffirming is that we reframe our day in a beautiful affirmation. So we can say, I make time for important things in my life, or I make time for important things that give value to me during the day. When you say, or when you start your day on such a note, you are more aware mentally, and you make an effort to carve out time for those things that are important to you, like meditation, writing, reading, swimming, yoga, anything. It will give you an awareness and a conscious choice to bring that effort to put it in your routine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chintan. Prayer, reading, learning makes me happy. Wonderful. Excellent. So you can create SMART goals for your either career or personal life, family, or the hobbies that you want to create. So SMART is small, measurable, actionable, resourceful, and time bound. So you can create SMART goals, which are small, like I will do meditation 10 minutes a day. It's a very small 10 minutes, but if you put it in your 24 hours, that 10 minutes can enhance your productivity, can make you feel good. And here, Chintan and Abha, these are people who will vouch for that if you just bring in that activities during just shorter time intervals, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of reading actually accumulates to 70 minutes of reading on the week, right? So 70 minutes and then add on to it, it becomes some 56 hours in a year. I did that calculation earlier. My maths is not that fast. So I did that calculation earlier and I'm sharing it with you, that it becomes so many hours in a year and you can finish so many books even if you read 10 minutes a day. So start with specific measurable goals, which are relevant to you, to your values, to your purpose, to your passion, and bring in that every day. So here we are just revising and seeing how many action you have taken, because I haven't seen much on the chat. One is health, exercise, limit, and passion. How much have you decided on which area needs your most attention? Is it your health? Is it your exercise? Is it limiting people and gadgets? Or is it following your passion? Where do you score the least between 0 to 10? The next one that we did was finding your rock, pebbles, and sand. What are your rock? What are your pebbles? What are your sand? How do you integrate that in your life to create a harmonious work-life balance and a happy life? The third thing that we did is following a routine. What are the 3 things that's most important for you during the day that you would like to accomplish? And this you can refer back to the acronym which we did, HELP. Is it exercise that's important for me? Is it limiting my time that is important to me? What is it that is important to me? And then creating smart goals in that area. For example, if it's an exercise, how will you create a smart goal in your exercise? I will, S stands for small, so I will exercise 15 minutes a day. Then measurable, how will you measure that? You will put a timer or you will put a music. That's how you can measure. How will you take action? I will set an alarm to get up in the morning and start my exercise, or I will have a timer set in the evening to go for a walk. Anything, what action works for you? Resources, what do I need for it? Do I need walking shoes? Do I need a space? Do I need a gym membership? What is it that I need? And time. When am I going to start that? And what is the commitment? Who's my accountability partner? Who am I going to say, yes, I did it? You can always reach out to me to do that. Avaji, that's a very, very important question. I will come back to it in few minutes. Before we finish this, I will come back to your question definitely. All right, so I think all the activities that we have done so far, we have no questions on that. So I will now move on to Q&A. We have last 10-15 minutes. So I will move on to Q&A.
Ms. Hina, before we move to the Q&A, we will be initiating the poll.
Sure.
So I request all the participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details, name, and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the end of this month. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So, Ms. Hina, by that time we can take the questions.
Yes. So I will now take the question answers, and it could be related to the topic that we did today, life-work balance, stress, productivity, happiness. Please feel free to ask your questions also about the activities that we did today, the HELP acronym, the SMART goals, the routine that we talked about. So feel free to ask your questions so that when you go back, I really want you to be empowered with at least 1 or 2 actions that you are ready to implement either today or tomorrow, whenever you want to start. and bring that positive change in your life, which was the intention we had set as we started this workshop. All right, so Abha, very important question. What should I do that all will be happy with me? The answer is that it is very, very difficult to make everyone happy. What we can do instead is make ourselves happy so that we can make others happy as well. Because everybody has a different mindset. They come from different backgrounds, different experiences, different expectations. And to meet those expectations and beliefs, it's very tough for an individual. But what we can definitely do is make ourselves happy. As they say that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If your cup is full, if you are happy, you can give happiness to others. But if you are unhappy, no matter how people will try to make you happy, it is very, very difficult. And this we have seen in people with depression and anxiety disorders. It is so everywhere today. Every one, I think what the survey says, that WHO survey says that every fifth person is suffering from mental depression. And that shows that like in every family, there is one person who's not feeling good. And with that awareness, it could be your neighbor, it could be your team member, it could be anyone in the house that may not be feeling so good. Can we really make them happy? The answer is no. They have to take an effort themselves. They have to seek some, medical therapy or exercise or diet and action from within to really work on that. There are processes for that, which I may not be the best person to answer. But what I can tell you is it is difficult to make everyone happy. Make yourself happy, do things that bring joy and happiness to you, and then spread that out to as many people as you can. I hope that answers your question. And you're already doing that, I think, with the beautiful activities that you're doing and sharing here. I'm sure you're spreading happiness around yourself.
Ms. Hina, we had some of the questions from the registrations that we have received.
Great.
So if you don't mind, I'll just start with those.
Yes, please do.
So there's one question saying, now when companies are thinking of working options as remote, work from home and hybrid, according to you, what all challenges and benefits individuals each work models bring? According to you, in general, which model employee prefers over the others and why?
Yeah, again, I think it's a great question because we are all looking at hybrid mode of working. Many organizations have also started either 3 days of work or work from home setup. And it's a question whether work from home is better or hybrid is better, or going back to physical space is better. Now, again, just like happiness, there is no concrete answer to this. Something works for every individual. There are many who I have heard over the last 2 years who are really happy with hybrid mode of working. They are avoiding traffic. For example, I'm staying in Bangalore. People in Bangalore are really scared of going out on the road. So they are avoiding traffic. They are finding more time for exercise, more time for recreational activities, more time for their family. And they are really happy with hybrid mode of working. Whereas some are feeling the lack of that physical, understanding with the team, that sharing, that collaboration, that is lacking. So they want more of physical space working. So hybrid is a good example where we can combine both in a beautiful integrated manner. Now, when we do hybrid, I think there are certain skills that we need to learn. Just as we, adapt to changes, whenever any change happens, we have to adapt to it. Like when the weather changes, our body adapts to the new weather. Similarly, when the circumstances around us changes, we need to adapt to the new changes that are happening in work and life. So adaptability mindset has become a very big thing these days in leadership, where we are talking about how to adapt to the new system. When we are working from home, what are the things that now we need to integrate at workspace, which was not talked about earlier? So for example, communication skills. Earlier, when the Zoom call started, not many knew how to be presentable on Zoom. What is happening behind your screen, or putting the green screen, or coming only half face and half hand and all those gestures. We all struggled with it. And then we understood how to work with Zoom or other virtual platforms, and then learn how to communicate with your team while you are on virtual. And communication just doesn't happen with the voice. That's an extremely important aspect to understand. Like, imagine right now, if I close my screen, you don't see any hand gestures, you don't see any smile, you don't see anything. You won't get my message across 100%. The words only carry 20% or 30% of the message across. The other message is carried through my hand gestures, through my facial expressions, through the many other tonality of the voice and all that happens. So it is important to learn how to communicate with your team members, and that is something organizations are doing. Number 2 is collaboration. How do you collaborate when you are on virtual, and when you work on a project which is a success, how to meet and celebrate that, so that the collaboration becomes more solid and you look forward to the next project. So there are ways in which we can collaborate, work together virtual, and then again meet to celebrate and bond well within the teams. There are a lot of team activities which are happening within the organization where they are working from home, but once or twice in a month, they are meeting for team building exercises and activities, either on an outdoor setting or a resort, where we do many activities where it helps them bond with each other and get to know more about each other. And that brings a connect at work as well. Forming relationship is an important aspect of doing better work. So yeah, communication, collaboration are 2 things. And then routine. That is another important aspect of hybrid working. When you have a routine, you really show up to work as if, you get up in the morning, you dress up for work. Even though you're working from home, if you dress up, you feel ready for work. Otherwise, if that pajama mindset is not working anymore now. So you may be wearing a top on the screen, but a pajama at the bottom. So your mindset will all be that. So let's change that. Let's bring the work home. If we are on hybrid, let's create a space which is least disturbed. I know it's difficult to do that at home, but teams are understanding that if my child walks into the room, it's understood by all, accepted by all these days. But at the same time, it is important for me to make an effort to create an undisturbed space as far as possible. So I think when we combine all these things, just as we are combining few things in life work balance, if we combine these few things in hybrid mode of working, it's going to be better, more productive. Numbers are going high in the organizations. We have seen some charts. So it's not that it's not working. It is really working well. We just need to adapt to the change that is happening around us.
Very beautifully answered, Ms. Hina.
Thank you.
So there's one more question saying, being a working and married woman, how do I maintain a balance between personal, professional, and family life?
Yes, that's a beautiful question. And I would vouch for that because I'm a married woman. I have 2 kids, and I always give that example. And if you're in a corporate job, then it requires more time and energy, which is completely understood. Now, when we are giving to our work, there are, I always call them enemies that come and, kind of haunts over us. So if you are here and if you're listening, the 3 enemies that we have is, number 1, stress. When we take a lot of stress on things that we are not able to manage, like family worries, job insecurity, deadlines, these things create stress. Now, how do we work on not taking stress is by building up your resilience. So I heard somewhere stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. So the higher resilience, the less pressure. So increase your resilience level, work on your inner self. That will reduce your anxiety and stress. Anyone wants to say something? Number 2 is perfectionism. We always think that we need to bring a perfection state of, thing in our house, in our children, in the way they are educating, in the way we set up the house, in the way we carry ourselves, in the way we perform at work. And that becomes a deadly enemy. It's a villain. So give up perfectionism. The day I decided to give up perfectionism, things became much more easier and calmer for me it still haunts me every now and then. The curtain is not put properly, or I will set up the table once again. It happens. It's very, very natural. But just to be aware and to avoid that coming into your daily life, and remind yourself it's a villain. Perfectionism is a villain. If it comes, it's going to bother you. So then you avoid and you say, okay, it's fine. If the cushion has fallen down, it's okay. I can just leave it there. So I think that really helps. And if you're unable to, join a meeting for certain reason, I think organizations have also become very, very flexible. They are accommodating. So communicating in advance, I think, will help. So please do that and take leaves which are granted to you for your recreational activities, travel, or kids, if that's a requirement. That will help you ease the workload and give time for other activities as well. And third, so I told you about stress and perfectionism. Yeah, third is doubting your ability. You are amazing who's already doing this work and life balance. So you are already very, very amazing. Don't doubt your ability. Do what works for you. Choose what works for you. So today your children are important, then give time to them. Tomorrow your meeting is important, go ahead and attend that. But choose what is important for you. And once you are clear in your intention, people around you understand. Like for me, if this meeting is important, I've told my kids not to disturb me for 1 hour. They will not come inside, but immediately as I go out, they will jump on me, because they know my intention. I do not like the disturbance at this time, but after that, my time is their time. So when you set clear intentions, people around you accommodate with you. So don't doubt your ability. You are awesome. You are perfect. And just do what you're doing with a little bit of awareness and conscious choice.
Rightly answered, Ms. Hina. So hope our participants are getting the answers which they want.
But not too many questions coming.
Yeah, not from the live Q&A, but yeah, we have received more questions in the, maybe they are shy to ask.
Yes, but I really want to thank all the participants for staying till the end. We only have last 2 minutes left, and each one of you have stayed back. So thank you so much. I hope you do gain something out of the session today and bring a positive, happy change in your life.
So thank you, Ms. Hina, for this much needed session.
Have we covered all the questions?
You want to take the questions? Because
yeah, we have 2 minutes.
Yeah, we have. So we'll go with one last question that so what could be the negative impact of improperly balanced work and life, and how could we overcome those impacts? Is the question.
Yeah, so I think we did discuss this at the beginning. So if you go back to the recording and check when we started the session, we did talk about what can lack of work-life balance do to our life. So the number one impact is lowering your immunity, causing high stress. And when you have lowered immunity, it is very easy to get cold, flu, cough, COVID, all these things are very, very immunity related diseases. So it lowers your immunity. Stress causes many health conditions such as heart diseases and so on and so forth. So when you don't have work-life balance, there is high stress, high anxiety, and unsatisfaction in life. So if you see, when you were in school, you wanted to be in college. When you are in college, you wanted to be at a very good company. When you got that offer from a very good company, you started working, but that happiness is still missing. And most of us are still searching for that happiness. So that happiness is in the present moment. It's here right now with us. We only have to balance our work and life to really connect with self to find that happiness. So that lack of work-life integration can cause unsatisfaction, unfulfillment in your life and make you very, very unhappy. So that is the complications that can come from lack of work-life balance. And how to navigate through this is, we told about the acronym HELP. Work on your health, work on your exercise, limit time wasting people, and follow your passion. I think when you do that, you connect with what really excites you, what really gets you going, what brings happiness to you. So your unhappiness is subtracted by these activities and you become much more happier.
Great, Ms. Hina. So We can take one more question. It's one minute is still left.
Okay.
So, how employees should maintain right balance between work ethics and comfort of work from home?
I think it's very, very important, especially now when we discussed in detail about hybrid mode of working. So communication from the organization to the employees and from the employees to the organization is extremely important. When the organization communicates the values and the ethics in a right manner to the employees, it kind of becomes clear, and leaders are at the forefront. So leaders can show that ethics and values. So if we are in a meeting and the team leader is switching off the camera and sitting, the team members are going to do that as well. But if the team leader, she switches on the camera or he switches on the camera and interacts and communicates openly, then other team members will get inspired by that. So you lead by an example. If you want your employees to follow the company ethics and values, it is important to show that with yourself first. When you do that, you can expect others to follow that as well. So being the leader, showing the right ethics and values is important, and be an example and communicate that clearly. So one of the Times of India newspaper said, for more than leaders, we need coaches these days. So I think it is important to communicate that and be interactive, ask their issues, what they are facing, why is their camera off, what are the challenges they are facing. So once you are interacting, you would come to know so much more about why certain employees are not able to do what they really would want to do in a different situation. So I think that communication, collaboration, and a coaching mindset will definitely help build in ethics and values in any organization.
Thank you, Ms. Hina. So, thank you for this much needed session. Key takeaways from this session are the help concept, identifying the three most important things in our life and then integrating it. Your knowledge on this topic is phenomenal. It has been a pleasure being with you today. I'm sure our participants had a lot to learn and take away from this session. Before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank the association members, Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgrove, TLE, and WICCI for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about these associations, request you to kindly visit the links provided in the chat window. Thank you once again, dear speaker and our participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next event, Evolve Culture and Leadership for a Hybrid World, on 4th of August 2022. That's it from our today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now. Thank you, Ms. Hina.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Faisal. Thank you everyone for joining in.